Alright, as you saw in the beginning of this video, today we're going to be taking a look at and learning how to make these low poly sky islands. This is still an ongoing project for me, and so I'm still want to add a few details, but we're just going to use this render here as a sort of a reference. Whenever I'm doing these videos, I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate everything that I see here, but we're still going to add the same objects and see how it turns out. So if yours doesn't turn out as an exact replica of mine, it's okay. We're going to begin with modeling and shading, and then towards the end we'll get into animation, and also we'll get into lighting and some other things. So let's go and get started. First thing we're going to do is open up a new Blender file. Yours might look a little different, and that's okay. I just changed the theme of mine. And we're going to delete this cube, so hit X and delete. Let's turn on my screencast key so that way you guys can take a look at them. So now whenever I press a key, you guys will be able to see it down here for those of you following along. We're going to hit Shift A, we're going to go under Mesh, we're going to add cylinder. We're going to hit 7 to go to top view, and we are going to scale this just a little bit here, maybe about that much. Use the middle mouse button to go to the bottom, hit Tab to go into edit mode, hit Faces or 3 on your number pad, and click on just this bottom face. Then we are going to hit Scale and shrink it down. Now so far this is just the general shape of our island that we want. Let's go back into scale, or back into object mode by hitting Tab. Let's scale this on the Z axis. So scale is S, Z on the axis is Z. Flatten it out a bit, and that is looking like a pretty good shape. Right now our island is looking a little too symmetrical and a little too flat. So what we're going to do is go back into edit mode, hit Tab, and we're going to select just a few of these edges at a time, skipping one every 3 or 4. All right, almost there. Okay, and what we are going to do is we're going to hit 7, go to top view, go ahead and scale those edges in or out, whichever way you prefer, and sort of give some unevenness to the island here. And I think I prefer this right here. There we go. That looks nice. This also affects the side of your the island here, so that's nice. Now the one problem that we have is it's uneven at the very top, and we kind of want to make that flat. So what we're going to do is hit Shift Z. We're going to go into edit mode. We're going to hit vertices, and this allows us to pick all, or select all the top vertices. Hit scale Z and 0. Enter. So now this completely flattens out the top of our island. Hit Shift Z to go back into solid or edit mode. And right now it's looking pretty good. Our island is looking pretty good, but we want to add a few more cuts here to make it a bit more uneven, like it was torn off the ground, or it broke off from the ground. So we're going to hit Control R, and Control R allows us to make loop cuts around the entire object. So let's just place that there. Hit 2 or go to edges here, and now it's added cuts to our object, or to our island here. Now let's start with this one. We're gonna hold down Alt and click the first loop cut, and we're going to scale it like that. Let's move it up a bit along the Z axis. Let's select this one, same thing, Alt, and then click, left click. Bring it up a bit. Same thing here. Oh, not that, wrong button. Okay, GZ, bring that up a bit. And let's also scale this one down. And ta-da, this is our island right now with a few loop cuts. Now, if this is all you're going for, that sounds good. I mean, it looks like a decent island, but I want to add a few more details to this island. I want to add a few more jagged edges, things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add more loop cuts. Back into edit mode. So I've gone ahead and added loop cuts within our original loop cuts. So this is what it should look like. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add in some variation. Now what you can do is select an edge, hit G, and move it outward or inward. And that's all good. And you'll see it's going to create slight variations and slight details as if it's been pulled off the ground. And that's great because it gives you custom control of how you want your island to look. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit Control Z as much as I can here. Oh, okay. So let's not select an edge. We're going to go to select up here. We're going to select random, and what it's going to do is going to select a random amount of edges for us randomly, of course, and we can change what gets selected. So if you don't like that version, or you can get to this version. Seed is basically the different variation in selections. So this one, I think I like this one. And we can also change the ratio. So if you want, a ton of selections, you can do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it to 0.15, somewhere around there. And I'm going to then go to mesh, and I'm going to go to transform, and then hit randomize. And what this does is it's going to randomize our edges for us. So to create these jagged edges, but we don't want to, we don't want them to be too far off. We don't want them to be like that. So I usually turn it down to about 0.4 or 5. There we go, slight variation there. Hit Control Z to select those. Now you're going to go into top view and you're going to scale these out. And just like that, you now have detailed island, the side of the island. Now you can keep selecting random edges there. Where'd they go? There we go. And let's just go here. Let's just say 10. And then do the same thing. You can either randomize or just go to top view and just scale it in. And again, that gives different variations to our island. And just like that, we have ourselves a pretty good detailed low poly island. The other problem we had earlier, the same problem actually, this is still up and down now. It's not flat anymore since we changed the island a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to tab mode again. We're going to go to vertices, shift Z into wireframe mode, pick just the top, scale along the Z axis, hit 0, and flatten it out. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll be creating small islands and getting into details with those. Thanks guys for watching. You guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.